Hey, Michael Newrock here. I'm considering taking a trade. It's a buy. It's on the dollar CAD. It's on the 4 hour. Just going to put this alert to the side, and you can see that it's been rolling along up, down, up, down, up. Now we're in an overall upward direction. 5 out of the 6 high time frame indicators are pointing up. So this is very good. I'm a little cautious about it because it is already at a pretty high point, but the fast moving average has crossed the slow moving average, nice and strong. The trend follower has just turned green, and the RSI and the MACD above where they should be. The stochastic has already had a crossover as well. So all I need to do is click yes. I'll just wait for the trade to be executed. There it is. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it takes a second or two, depending on the market. Other times it'll take even longer because it is by the tick. So here we are on the daily chart. You can see that we've had a recent new upward trend forming on the daily, and there's plenty of room here for pips to be had. Even though it's high on the 4 hour time frame, we'll just get back to that now, it's looking like it has huge potential on the daily. So the question is it going to bust through those recent highs? Now I've got just over 70 pips on my stop, but you can see here to a key high 200 pips, 400 pips to the ultimate key high. So I'm ready and willing to be able to take this risk. Of course, when you take any trade, there's always risk involved. It's just inherent to trading. But the fundamentals are there as far as the higher time frames pointing towards an upward move. So I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to pause the video right now, come back as soon as I have an update. Okay, I'm back, and we're on the dollar CAD, and the market gods were on my side this time. $2,270 in the black. We started here, of course. We did bust through those recent highs. It was an overall upward trend. And so you can see here, I'm safe as far as the trade goes. We've reached just over 120 pips. And currently, my stop loss has been moved to around 90 pips on my first position and around 70 pips on my second position. So they are really quite nice and tight. I'm comfortable with my trade management at this stage. Now, the next target is at 150 pips. So let's take a look at that. I'll just squeeze it down a little bit. And what do we got? 150 pips is only, like 25, 30 pips away from its current market price. So I'm going to leave it alone. Now, my stops are in place. I'm a winner either way now. On the daily chart, you can see that it's progressed and we had a huge daily move. But there's still, about 80 pips to the next major high, 70, 80 pips, and about 280 pips to the ultimate key recent high on the daily time frame. So there's not really much more I can do here. Just under 2,300 in profit right now. I could close right now, or I could hang in and see which way this trade goes. Either way, I'm a winner because, of course, I have my trades locked in with profits. So at this stage, I'm a happy guy in a win-win situation, which is always good to be in when you're trading. So I'm going to pause the video right now, come back as soon as I have another update. Alrighty, so trade is progressing nicely, about 2,470 bucks, just shy of. It's now reached 140 pips, or 139, 140 pips. Currently sitting on about 128 pips in the black. I've got my stops at the same points at 90 pips and at 70 pips. So I'm not touching those at the moment, but it's getting high. It looks really high up there on the chart. I wouldn't be totally surprised if there was some kind of correction, and I don't quite make that 150 pips, which is of course my second target of where my second profit locking occurs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get into the settings, and I'm going to change the second move to 130, second stop loss to 30, which means I'll lock in 100 pips in that trade, and adjust my third move to 175 pips. So same on my second position, 130 pips for my second target. On the second stop loss, I think I'll leave that alone, and 175 pips, the same on my third move or third target for my second position, which is when, of course, the trailing is activated. So I'm going to leave it at that. We're looking good. You can see here that the new trade management settings have taken place. So I'm only a couple of pips away from that, plus the spread, of course, in this trade. And we're looking at, so yeah, about 100, same 128. It's retraced a tiny little bit. It hasn't really been doing anything. So I'm going to hang in there and hopefully get back really quickly with another update. All right, 2,570 bucks thereabouts. And good news is my second target has been hit. So you can see here my stops have been moved, and so we're currently locked in. Well, we've got about 135 pips in profit right now. So it achieved that 130 pip second target, locked in the the profits. You can see here in the daily, still about, what is it, about 60, 70 pips. Yeah, about 70 pips to the recent high on the daily chart. Of course, a couple of hundred pips more to the ultimate key high, and you can see that I need to get to 175 pips before trailing is activated. Could I set it now? Yeah, I could. I could just go back into settings, but for right now, I'm quite happy with that. So 100 pips locked in on my first trade, 80 pips locked in on my second pips on my second trade. So 10 pips is 10 pips. I've locked in, I squirreled away some more pips, which is going to translate into more money. When these trades ultimately pass on, when they get closed out, the equity from these trades will be converted into capital, into my account. So that's the beauty of a trades closing. It's going to happen. It always happens. It's just a matter of how long can you hold on. But don't fear being closed out. You're always going to make a little less than your ultimate, but it's no one knows no one knows when the move is going to ultimately finish. So the best that we can do as trend profiteers is to hang on, ride that trade, ride that trend for as long as possible, and I'll get back as soon as I have another update. Cheers. Hey guys, just got back to check my trade, and 3,250 bucks thereabouts, going great. And let's take a look. 169 pips, 168 pips. In profit right now. Of course, my target 3 is 170 pips. I mean, this is just a couple of pips off, and I've got my stops locked in. I've got pips and profits locked in, but it's going to come down quite a bit if we experience a retracement. I am getting a little nervous at this point because it's kind of done better than I expected, considering the chart was already, the price was really way up on that chart, despite it being in a daily trend and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the third targets from 170 to 165. A little trick here, because you can see here it's come into play. Next time I get a tick to the upside, my stops will move. Okay, so we're currently at 169 pips, which exceeds the 165 pip third target that triggers, activates the trailer, and there it is. Okay, we've got a move to the upside on that position, so we are now locked in. That's nice on that first position. The good thing is I've got it tight on the first position, more liberal on the second position. Why? Well, if it does correct, I'm going to just bank some money straight into my account, and my second position has still got 80 pips locked in, right? So I'm still playing for the big move, for the long play on the daily charts, while I'm covering my butt with the first position to make sure that I extract almost the maximum amount of pips and around $1,600. It'll be a little less than that probably, but around that on my first position. So yeah, I'm really excited with this trade. You don't get multi-thousand-dollar trades all the time. Okay, that's obviously the goal, the whole intent. When you get into a trade, you are well, as a profiteer, I train, I teach that that is the game here. You want to get as much from your winnings as you can. So when you're in a winning trade, you want to maximize your returns. Okay, it makes sense because you got to squirrel away because there'll be lots of times where you have losing trades. So anyway, I'm going to pause the video right now. Come back as soon as I have another update. Cheers. Hey, I'm back and take a look at this. 4,130 bucks thereabouts, and my stops have moved along with my first position with the fast moving average. My second position, it's moved in line with the PSAR or parabolic SAR. Now there's 5 different trailing methodologies that you can use. I've chosen these 2. You can customize it completely. But anyway, the trade's looking really good. On the daily time frame, you can see that it's actually surpassed that recent high that I was aiming for. There's still a bit of a bit of room to move to that ultimate high. I've been worried about this for the last couple of updates, but it just keeps on going higher. Now, ultimately, it's probably going to at some time correct to the downside, but I've got my profits locked in. Okay, so my first and second position are locked in. I'm playing this trade for both converting as much cash as I can into capital in my first position and being a bit more liberal with my second position because, at that stage, it's free money. I'm playing with the market's money. So that's always a good thing. If you can place yourself in that position, that is exactly what you should be doing. So I'm going to pause this video again and see how long we've got in this trade. I'll be back as soon as I have an update. Cheers. Hey, $1,924 is where my first position ended or closed. I'm just going to put it on the chart. You can see here where it was entered, and right up here is where it was closed out, almost a maximum, about 195 pips all in all. And I've got my second position still open at just on $1,900. It's following the trade via the parabolic SAR. So even if it consolidates now, my stop is going to get tighter and tighter. Hopefully, we're going to see another swing upward, and that's going to make this trade even better. But you never know. My trend management is now in play. There's not a lot I can do. I mean, I can choose to take out this second position, cash it out now for $1,900, and the total is just shy of 4,000 between 2 trades. But take a look, on the daily charts, you can still see that there is room for this trade to go. 200, just shy of 220 pips. So that is what I'm targeting. And at this stage, I'm in a win-win situation. I'm just going to accept what the market gives me. We're still in an upward direction of 4 out of the 6 high time frame indicators pointing up. All my other indicators are telling me this pair is still going up, but at this stage, it's been a good ride. So I'll get back as soon as I have another update. See how we go. Okay, both my positions have been closed. There was a lot of trader tension in this trade, kind of like sexual tension, but I always knew that the end was coming. But anyway, first position there, $1,924. My second position, slightly less, $1,855, but together, 29237, about 3780 thereabouts, $3,780. That's a really good trade in anybody's books. About an average of 190 pips each between those 2 positions. It didn't go up any further. What can I say? It was a great ride. I'm going to take a look at this trade in a couple of hours or so, maybe half a day, maybe a day. Let's just see how far this correction goes, and then I'll be back in. But look, I look forward to helping you on your journey as a trader, helping you take that next step to the next level as a consistently successful and profitable trader. I'm looking forward to sharing all the resources that we have, all the training that I've put together, the software, of course, the all-important software in this day and age of artificial intelligence and computer technology. You really need these kind of resources to play on a level playing field. Let's face it. Our community of like-minded traders, come join us, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. So until then, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.